All right, guys, thank you so much for getting on the call tonight as usual. Super Saturday this year for me was absolutely incredible. I'm sure I had a different experience than a lot of you guys, but I love the fact that each of us were kind of at different locations, hearing from different sources and seeing that same material. So each one of us probably has a little bit different experience to take away from Super Saturday because the material was delivered in a little bit different manner, which is really, really neat. So I can't wait to hear what everybody else has to say about Super Saturday. But to me, it was exactly the content that we needed, especially for our team. It was timely, it was relevant, and it was exactly what everybody on our team needed to hear and needed to put into action, including myself. There was a lot of content in there where I was like, okay, it's time to implement that in 2017. So I absolutely loved it. I walked away from Super Saturday feeling inspired, feeling renewed, and just kind of ready to go. So I hope that everybody else felt the same way as I did. We're going to do our best to condense 4 hours of training down to about 30 minutes. So bear with us. This is clearly not all of the content from Super Saturday and clearly not all of the information. I have heard through the rumor mill that there's going to be a recording coming out for all of the people that didn't get to go to watch it. So it'll be 4 hours long, and you guys can definitely tune into that. It'll be amazing. So hopefully this will give you a good snapshot of what we saw and felt and heard, and the things that we're taking back to implement into our own businesses. And the whole entire premise of Super Saturday was based on the Rank Up Roadmap, which I'll explain here in a second, but it was also all about going silver every single month, which, as you guys who are business builders on this call understand, going silver or adding 3 level 1s every single month is the fastest way to grow your business, and then duplicating that down to your teams is absolutely fantastic. So they gave us a lot of action items. They gave us kind of a roadmap to enable us to get there. I'm still dealing with a little bit of a head cold from all the traveling, but in order to enable us to get to silver every single month, they gave us some really great action items and some great training to kind of keep front and center. So the way I'm going to structure this call is I'm going to hand it over to Amanda first, and then we're going to kind of go down the line, and everybody is going to share a different section that they felt more connected to from Super Saturday. So they're going to share their takeaways from that specific section, and that's how we're going to do it. And then we're going to end this call talking to you guys a little bit about convention and some strategies surrounding that. And first of all, I'm going to have an honor to talk a little bit about the Rank Up Roadmap, which is a project I've been on for the last year. A lot of you have heard about that, and I'm going to give you the tiniest little condensed version of it because that's what Super Saturday was based on. So Plexus Corporate has teamed up with myself and a couple other Diamond Ambassadors to work on a training platform that's going to go out to the entire company, and it's super exciting because at every single point in your Plexus journey, you're going to be given a roadmap from corporate once you achieve that rank on how to get to the next rank. So when you sign up with Plexus, you're going to get a roadmap on how to get silver. You're going to get to pick your pace, whether you're a wholesale ambassador and you just want to get your products covered, or you're a running ambassador and you want to go maybe even as fast as Fast Start Gold. It's going to give you all those choices, and it's going to be clickable and interactive, and it's going to show you exactly the types of trainings you need. It's going to have a whole entire library of training tools and videos, even book recommendations, everything. It's very, very comprehensive. So it's super exciting. That's going to be coming out sometime this year. That is what Super Saturday was based on. So just wanted to kind of give you that background on why we're talking about all this. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Amanda so she can talk about the first section that we learned about in Super Saturday.
Hey, everyone. First of all, I want to do a little side note. Sarah, I have to brag. How awesome was it watching all that the Rank Up Roadmap and seeing Sarah up there and being like, that's my diamond, just so y'all know, that's my diamond. Like, that was awesome. That was so cool. Hillary and I were sitting next to each other, a little teary-eyed, I'll admit. we were super excited. But Sarah, that was awesome. And so congratulations. That's huge that you're in charge of this. And I love this whole thing. Like the whole thing, I know you worked so hard on this, is really, really incredible. So, but thanks for asking me to speak. And so, as y'all know, Amanda Grubb, I was at the Dallas Super Saturday, and it was Sarah Marble and Amy Paul. And Amy Paul was amazing. She had told us that this was her very first Super Saturday to speak, and she got paired with Sarah Marble. Like, how intimidating. But she did great. She did totally great. But one of the things I want to talk about first is Sarah Marble talked about balance in life. And there were so many things that just struck a chord with me, because especially in my situation that I still work full time, I've got 2 young babies at home, and we're in the middle of remodeling a house and a move. Like, most of the time my head is just spinning. So anytime someone gives me these balance ideas and how to balance my team and my life and my business versus my team's business, my team's growth, I'm super excited, and I just want to shout it from the rooftop. So I love, love, love that Sarah Marble is so relatable. If y'all don't know this, I mean, she's like Plexus. She is Plexus. They joked at Super Saturday that her upline was corporate. But actually her upline is a stranger that was a stranger to her. She signed up at a gym. So somebody had a booth at a gym and she signed up. Can you imagine hosting a booth and here comes a Sarah Marble for your team? Like, hello. And then it did take her 7 months to hit silver. And she's been doing this business, she said, for 6 years. So that's what the other people that are like, reach an emerald when they're on an airplane and have no idea what's going on, that they're like, oh, I hit emerald. Yeah, book me out my car. No, she took 7 months to hit silver and work her business. So she is so relatable. I'm obsessed with her. I thought she just did a phenomenal job during the whole time. It was incredible. She talked about making agreements with her family and agreements with her team. And there was an understanding of a set course of how she does things. It wasn't, I'm going to work my Plexus business. I'm going to work my Plexus business. And it was just random. She had a very good balance for things. So like, her family knows from the get-go, Monday nights are Plexus nights. And she actually hosts an opportunity meeting every single Monday night. Awesome. Totally awesome. And she said sometimes there's 2 people there, which I was like, thank you. Thank you. I have hosted where 1 person showed up, and I'm like, I'm still doing this, Sarah. You were with me, and we still did it, and it was amazing. But 1 person showed up. And I've had others where 10 people show up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. 15, 20, but it varies. And so it was so relatable that it was like, some days you're going to have this incredible success thinking, oh my gosh, this is unstoppable. This is going to change my business. And other days you're going to think, that was kind of rough. How am I going to get through this? But every Monday, her family knows this is Plexus time. She's not there for baths. She's not there for dinner. That's her Plexus time. Her team knows that she gets her boys to school every morning. She said from 7 to 9, she takes the boys to school. From 9 to 10, she works out. She says, if I don't write it down, it doesn't happen. So her team knows after 10, she's available. And then I loved this. My team is probably going to be like, wait, what? Where are you going to go? But she gave this advice, and I thought it was huge. She made herself a rule, because in this business, it's so important to not go into management mode. And we have these teams. We love our teams, and they're incredible. But we can't go into management mode. We have to focus on continually building our own business. So she made herself a rule that she's not allowed to post on her team page until she reaches out to 5 people every day. And she said, sometimes I don't get to the team page till noon. But she's like, I have to do it. If I don't do my own IPAs, then I'm doing my team a disservice. She said, and it was the similar, like, your cup is full. She's like, if your cup's not full and you're not doing your own IPAs, you're not going to give that to your team. And I thought, that's huge. I loved, loved, loved that she set that for herself. And I really just took that to heart. That was like a slap in the face for me. She did tell a quick story about her complaining to her upline that she was saying, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. I've worked so hard in this business. It's so exhausting. I'm working all the time and I'm not getting anywhere. What am I doing wrong? And her upline challenged her and said, I want you to journal what you do for 2 weeks. just journal what you do for 2 weeks. And Sarah said she was crawling back with her in her hands like, I look at Facebook for 3 hours a day. That's not an IPA. And no, it's not. And I can be just as guilty that some days. And some days you're so excited to talk to your friends and you see these cute, adorable pictures and you're like, yes, I'm talking to everyone. I'm working on Plexus. And you're not. You're just looking on Facebook. There's a big difference there. So you want to make sure that you're looking and knowing the difference of working your business and enjoying your friends on Facebook. Big, big difference. And so I'll leave it the quote that she said, and then I'll talk about this first step. This, again, slap in the face. I was like, huge. This is huge. She said, and I don't think this is her quote. She said someone else told her, but she decided that she was going to kind of make it her quote till somebody told her different. She said, you may run out of comfortable people, but you will never run out of people to talk to. Huge. Huge. When you say, I don't have anybody left to talk to. Well, I bet you don't. I bet when you hit up in the ranks and you're comfortable people, I bet you're done talking to your family and your high school friends. But what about that person checking you out at the grocery store? What about that person at Marshall's? What about the person that does your eyelashes? I'm about to sign up the person that does my eyelashes. What about the person that does your nails? All these things are people that you can talk to. It's not going to be comfortable. Your stomach's probably going to be a little upset when you do it, but it's going to grow your business like you would have never imagined. Again, huge example here that Sarah Marble's upline, Sarah Marble was a stranger to her, that she had the guts to talk to Sarah Marble at the gym. Huge, 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 huge. So next, I hope that wasn't too much of a side note, Sarah, but I love, love, love that she talked about building your vision. And this is one of the things that they talked about through all the Super Saturdays, but I know that some things were a little different. I love that we start off with the vision and just identifying your why. We talk about this all the time, but what I really, really liked that they did at Super Saturday, I hope they did this for everyone, was they gave us 3 to 5 minutes, which is a good chunk of time. If you're sitting there in a room of 2,000 people, it's a good chunk of time to sit there and physically write out your why. And I can tell y'all, if y'all haven't heard my story, my why started off wanting $50 a month to do my hair. Now my why has transformed into a house for my mother to stay in. But when I was writing my why down, something brand new popped up. It was a guest room in my house because I want everyone to feel that they can come to my home and be comfortable, loved, and spoiled. That's what I want. And I wrote it down and I kind of stared there, staring at it like I didn't know that was what I wanted until I put it out there on paper. So really, even though you're thinking about your why, take the time. 5 minutes. I don't care if you sneak it. I mean, again, parent of a toddler, I don't care if you sneak it right before you get in the shower. That could be 3 minutes. I don't care if you do it while you're in the bathroom. That's your only private time. Do it. No big deal. Give yourself 3 minutes to really think about, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? And a huge thing for me that my husband and I talked about after I did some Emerald training, I asked him his why. Like, what do you want out of this? What do you want with this? What you're dedicating your time and taking care of the kids while I do calls, what do you want out of this? This is our family. This is our journey together. Knowing your why is huge because that is what's going to get you through tough times and catapult you through the good times. Then she talked about knowing your why. Is it growth? Is it health, finance, personal development? It doesn't have to be weight loss. Don't think like that. Your why is not weight loss. Like I said, mine is a guest room that I'm struggling to get. Right now I've managed to get one that has a Murphy bed in it, and I'm counting it as a half check. It's not really there yet, but it's a half check. Then she talked about creating a vision board. I know, super like high school, woohoo, send me a note in your little book, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. Hillary and I came up with this idea, and I'm obsessed with it. If you don't like the idea of someone coming into your home and there's a huge vision board of cars and stuff like that, it makes you nervous, so that put it on Pinterest. Make a Pinterest board of all the stuff you want to do. Make that your backdrop of your computer screen so that you see it every single day, that you see like, I am getting that. Mine right now is a beautiful guest room. It's a little sea theme, which makes no sense for my house, but I like it. And next, we talked about building belief. This, I have to tell you, and I always tell my team, if you don't have belief in the industry, in this company, and in yourself, lean on me. Because my belief is so strong in this company, in this industry, and in myself. Myself worries a little bit. Sometimes I need some help from my sideline sisters over here. But you should have, so this company is so amazing. Take it from someone who is in a company, a very sought after company with my full-time job, and I'm a number to them. They don't know me, and if they can get out of paying me, they will. We're actually talking about that they might have cut my pay during my maternity leave and tried to sneak it in. It's not okay. And we're in a business that they want to constantly support us, constantly cater to us. If y'all were not in convention last year, Alec, I think it was Alec, stood up and said, we never make a decision if it's not good for the company and for the ambassadors. If it's good for the ambassadors but not for the company, we don't do it. If it's good for the company but not for the ambassadors, we don't do it. It has to be good for both. That is how much they care about us. It is huge. And last, belief in yourself. Like I said, I'm the same, that it can waver. That's why you have a team. That's why you have sideline sisters. Take time and get an audiobook. All those the Success on Demand, those audiobooks are free. There are books to help you realize what potential you have. Sarah said it was one, I'm going to lose it. It's something, look in the mirror, like, I don't know. I'll find it and I'll post it in the thread. But I don't want to look through my notes and take up time. But there are books that can help you just change the way you think in realizing that you can do this. I can't tell you enough. You can do this. My background, if y'all believe this, is in window design. I design windows for a living. And yet, this entire business has become everything I want to do with my life. If anyone from any background can do this. So if you are attending Super Saturday, I hope you got as excited as I am about Super Saturday. And I hope if you did or did not, you realize this is a taste. This is just a little teeny tiny taste of what amazing things you can get from convention. So get excited and go register for convention. It's going to be so incredible. I cannot even believe it. So hopefully not take up too much time, but Sarah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Amanda. And I love that. I especially loved all, the talk about asking for the husband's whys. I think that's huge. And then talking about how, you haven't reached the end of your network. You've just reached the end of the comfortable people in your network. And I think that rings true for a lot of us, including myself. We feel like our network's done. And then suddenly you look around and you actually take an assessment of the people that you see every single day, or even just once in a lifetime. Those strangers that you meet and that you have that one shot with, cough, cough, Amy Welch, they're never probably going to cross your path again. And if you don't talk to them, what if they are the next Sarah Marble or Amy Welch? You never know.
Because likely they'll go join someone else's team.
Yes.
You'll never see them again, or you're stuck with them forever.
Yeah. Dang it. Okay, so on that note, I'm going to turn it over to Taryn, and she's going to talk to us a little bit about the next topic that we learned as well. I'm going to remute myself.
Hey, all right. So I got to attend the Nashville Super Saturday, and I felt so honored because I got to hear from our incredible Jen Hawkins, who I adore. She is amazing and so sweet, and someone who I actually didn't know of before, and I kind of fell in love with her and have a little bit of a girl crush on her now. Her name is Kathleen Hepler, and she talked about, she did a phenomenal job talking about creating your networking plan and kind of building your network, which is great from what Amanda kind of touched on. She came from a super, super small town way up in New York, and she talked about how she didn't have a huge network and she wasn't super active on social media and stuff like that. So basically she just decided she was going to start talking to people because she loved these products. And she basically said she picked her closest friends and family, and she picked up the phone and she literally said, I don't know what this stuff is, but you need it in your life because it's amazing. So you need to order this because I don't know how I made it through without this. And just her belief and her passion was so unshakable that people were like, okay, I guess I need it. But she started her network, and she talks about, as we all hear, but something kind of clicked a little for me again, was our Frank's List. And I'm going to be honest, I kind of cringe when I hear people say, have you done your Frank's List? And I'm like, ugh. Yes, but I don't really know. Like, I always get so stumped when they're like, sit down and just write names. And I kind of draw a blank a lot of times. I'm like, I mean, these are all names that I've already talked to people and stuff. But your Frank's List can be so much better. I just started a new one after this, and I'm really excited about it. And your Franks are your friends, your relatives, your acquaintances, your neighbors, your kid connections, and they call it your service connections or spouse connections. And so you can go through literally your Facebook friends list and look at everybody, but don't just look at the person. Think of who you know that you could talk to because of that person. So think, this person could be good at this, but you know what? They have a sister who's a nurse, or I know that their mom, they've been posting about their mom struggling with some health issues. Think of connections to people, and then write those names down. This doesn't mean that you're going to reach out to that stranger, but it's a great way to have a bigger picture. So if you do reach out to that one person, you also have like a little side list of, you know what, this would be great for you. And I've noticed you have a mom or a sister or a brother. So you bring people into their life as well, and you create a small network for them when you talk to them, but this is expanding your networks. So your Frank's List is so, so important. And it's really important to sit and really, really think and write down all of these names and never, ever, ever prejudge. She told me one of the best stories, told us one of the best stories about there was a super fit running gal, and we all have that like super fit running friend who you're like, they're never going to want to do Plexus. They're literally going to laugh in my face and be like, I don't do supplements. And it was a neighbor, like 2 houses down or something. And she was running by one morning by Kathleen's house, this Diamond, who I think she was like pretty well into Plexus at this time, like very like a good rank. I don't know if she was Diamond or whatever, and this neighbor ran by and stopped and was like, Kathleen, I have been meaning to ask you, can I buy a bag of Slim from you? And she kind of was like, what? I've never mentioned Plexus to you. How do you know I do Plexus? She goes, oh my God, girl, you know our friend so-and-so who her son is best friends with your son at school? Well, I buy it from her. And she was like, wait, what? So she has a really good girlfriend at the school who her son and the other gal's son are best friends. And she never mentioned Plexus to this gal. And then she has a really fit running neighbor who she was always afraid and hesitant to mention Plexus to. And both of them buy Plexus, neither of them from her. And so she was like, I'm going out of town. I can't get any from her, but I know that you are like the queen of Plexus, and I bet you have a bag of Slim at the house. Can I just get one from you before I leave for town? And she's like, 2 people I missed out on. 2. Right in my close inner circle, because I prejudged when I was writing my Frank's List. And I was like, oh gosh, I know I hear these stories literally time and time again, but I know that I sit down writing my Frank's List and I prejudge and I think of people and I don't want to write their name, and I like really hesitantly write their name, and I'm like, but I'm not going to reach out to them, but I'm going to put their name down. Don't prejudge, y'all. I guess one of my favorite things she said too was prejudging is an automatic no versus a potential no. So would you rather have someone automatically tell you no or potentially tell you no? You never know. So stop prejudging. I know that is our biggest hurdle when we write down these Frank's Lists. We sit down and we have a mental block because our mental block is ourself, prejudging all the names that we know we need to write down, but we're thinking in our head and talking ourselves out of each person. Instead of writing it down, we're saying, oh no, not that person. I'll think of someone else. Oh no, not that person. I'll think of someone else. And then before you know it, you're like, well, I only have 3 names. Write every single name down. create your Franks list. Your friends, people that you know, your relatives, your acquaintances that you run into, people you know, you're like, I see that checker at the grocery store all the time, or that nail girl all the time, like Amanda mentioned, your acquaintances, your neighbors, all of your neighbors, and friends of your kids' parents, like friends who are in social connections. And then think of people your husband knows or your boyfriend knows. Think of those people, because your husband or boyfriend may not be into it right now, but they may drop some hints subtly here and there. I know that's one of the biggest things for me is my husband, believe it or not, he supports me, but he wasn't into Plexus and was definitely not going to be talking about it. And then he actually started driving the Lexus because I couldn't fit 3 car seats in it. And he brought me 4 ambassadors from work because he drives that Lexus and he takes them to lunch. And he refuses to talk about Plexus, but when they ask why he got a new Lexus, and he's like, well, my wife, Taryn, does this Plexus thing. Think of people your husband knows. I'm so serious. He's like, I guess I'll talk about it. I'm like, yeah, you will. If you drive him to work, to lunch. Anyways, so grow your Franks list. Don't be afraid of your Franks list. Don't be afraid of anyone on that list. Grow that list. And then don't prejudge anyone. And then after you grow that Franks list, think about what you know about that person and really dig into why you think they want Plexus. So creating your networking plan, this wasn't exactly in Super Saturday, but this is kind of something I like to think of, is I like to think of how am I going to network and who do I want people to see me as? So create the person you want to be on social media that attracts others, and then think of all the people that see and watch your feed. What do they want to see? What do they want to be a part of? What kind of person do they want to be? What is exciting and fun and enticing? What's going to draw them in and have them watch you and follow you more? It's not going to be spammy Plexus ads. I promise you. They're going to scroll right on by that and they're going to be like, great, if I join Plexus, I have to start spamming my friends. That's not what we want. So creating your networking plan revolves around making yourself attractive, and then doing your Franks list, and then keeping your eyes and ears open, like Amanda and Sarah said, to all of these people that you come into contact with. Joining groups is a huge thing. I was just having a conversation with Sarah about my warm market being almost in February, it'll be 2 years into this business. My warm market is pretty tapped out. Although I will be honest, there's a good chunk on my pseudo Franks list that I never wrote down that I am now writing down because I was afraid. And I know that they're in my warm market and I'm just going to pick up my big girl panties and talk to them. But all of the other people, join groups, get involved in groups. I know there is a great, well-respected, we call her the rocket scientist of Plexus, and she joins so many Facebook groups and just becomes active. You post in those groups, make engaging posts, post about what's going on, talk to other people when they make posts and comment on them. Don't spend your entire day doing this, but just make yourself noticeable in the group so that people are like, I think I've seen that girl. She posted on something else and I liked that. Or she told me I did a great job on this. Or she really liked my blah, blah, blah. Have people, make yourself stick in people's head in these groups. Send them friend requests and you are expanding your network. They will start following you. You will be intentional and reach out to them. You cannot just let them follow you because that's just a no-go. That's a wash. There's no reason to join all these fake friends, but they are real friends if you're never going to talk to them about Plexus. But make your network bigger and bigger and bigger every single day. If you're not adding 2 to 5 people to your network and your Franks list a day, I know that's a lot, but seriously, there are so many people in this world and online, on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, I don't know. You find people wherever you can and whatever you're involved in, add them, have them start following you and want to be a part of this, and then make yourself attractive and show them that they can't not do this because it's so fun and so awesome. So those are the big things I learned about with creating your networking plan and expanding your network and how important that Franks list is. And never prejudge. So stop hesitating with those names and just write them down. So yeah, I hope that was all right.
Yeah, that was perfect. Thank you so much, Taryn. And I totally agree. And one of the biggest things I always say with the Franks list, you got to write it down. You have to put pen to paper. That's huge because you're going to forget. You can't think of all those people. But then the biggest thing, and I think this is one of the biggest mistakes a lot of people make, is if they do sit down and write down that Frank's list, is then they turn around and they contact every single person on that Frank's list. That's not what we want. The Frank's list is exactly what Taryn said. It's a network marketing plan. It's a marketing plan. And so it's a snapshot of who all is in your network. And then you take a look and you run down that list and you think, okay, who are these people? What are they interested in? What are their personalities like? What can I say? How can I market this and myself in order to draw them in? We are not in the hunter style of selling. We're in the farmer style, the relationship style of selling. And so reaching through and cold messaging all those people is the quickest way to make your warm market cold. So what we have to do is build relationships with those people and market to them in a way that's going to make them contact you and draw them to you and make them interested. So you've got to do this smart. This is a very smart way of working that marketing list. And am I saying don't reach out to people? Absolutely not. Do not take my words so literally. But you cannot sit down and just cold call all those people that you've just written down. It doesn't work like that. Be smart about it. Think about each person as an individual person in your network, not a number, and think about the gift that you have and why they might want this gift and that it could seriously change their life. So the part that I'm going to talk about today is the sharing of Plexus, the sharing, the talking to people, the storytelling that surrounds that. This was one of my favorite parts, and it's one of the parts that I actually presented during the Super Saturday in Illinois. So one of the first things that I started out by telling everybody was, we all hear, okay, you've got to share, not sell. But what does that actually mean? So I gave everybody an example that had happened to me right before Super Saturday. I went up to the mall and I knew I needed a pair of black pants. And I didn't know where I was going to get them from, but I was going to go to a couple different places. And I also wanted to shop for a new outfit to wear on stage at Super Saturday. So walking down the center of the mall, I bet you guys can guess who I encountered. It's those darn kiosk people, those people that just kind of hunt you down in the middle of the mall. And normally, I don't know what was happening. I was on a mission that day because I had very limited time. And unfortunately, I think I made eye contact with one of them. And so he looked straight at me and he was like, oh, it's on. I'm selling her whatever this thing is, this beauty cream or whatever that's in my hand. So he says, ma'am. And I look away and I'm like, no, thank you. No, thank you. I was like, oh, God, I made eye contact with this guy. And he kept saying, I said no to him 3 different times. I get past him and then he says, ma'am, catch. And I was like, no way. He literally threw it at the back of me and it hit me and bounced off. And I was like, holy cow. At this point, he's like basically chasing me down the mall and throwing samples at me, okay? So all of that to say, you don't want your friends to feel like you are the kiosk person, right? You don't want to share Plexus in a way that is so overbearing and so ridiculous that people are literally working to not make eye contact with you when they see you. It's incredible. Like that kind of style of sale is the opposite of what we want. So you also have to think about that as you're scrolling Facebook. Do you think that your friends are looking at you as the kiosk person on Facebook? Are you the spammer that's hitting up Facebook with all of these posts that are like Plexus, Plexus, Plexus? Or are you on there sharing Plexus posts that don't even say the word Plexus, but they're sharing about the lifestyle of Plexus, that type of thing? That's what we want. Sharing, not selling. Think about that every single time. Am I being the kiosk person? And I being the person that my friends are now avoiding because I'm being so overbearing? We don't want that. So one of the biggest things that we talked about in Super Saturday was sharing the story that we have. They had an incredible storytelling video that I promise you, as soon as it's available and as soon as we get the green light, I'm going to be posting on Team Taylor, and you guys have to watch it. It is the most brilliant explanation of how to tell your story in Plexus, how to tell your why, how to tell your testimony. But the whole premise of it was to tell everybody, hey, to connect with people, using your story, using your testimony, no matter how big or small, and providing little details that connect with people. When you're telling somebody a story, whether it's your testimony, your business testimony, your uplines testimony, your sidelines testimony, a story of how you take the products or how you began the products, anything like that, people automatically connect with you, and they start connecting with little bits of your story. But you have to become a good storyteller, one that doesn't tell a story in a long, drawn-out, rambling manner, one that's succinct. I can't say that word. You guys know exactly what I'm trying to say. Succinct, one that's straight to the point, one that gets the message across, but that doesn't sound canned or robotic. You want to draw the person in, you want to attract the person to whatever you're saying and build that connection with them. Stories sell, facts just tell. So that's the biggest key there. So learning how to tell your story, learning how to share your why in an attractive manner, learning how to tell your business testimony. You guys, I don't care if you just started yesterday and you've made $1 with Plexus, you've made $1 with Plexus. That's a business testimony. Plexus is not a money pit. They're not stealing money from your account every single month. You're actually making $1, okay? That's a story, and that's something that you can share. So it's thinking about those types of things and then thinking how you're gonna frame it with people and tell people in an excited manner that makes them want to hear more. So that's the type of thing. We talked about our elevator pitches and those types of things. And all of those things, you have to bring it back to being authentic. You have to bring it back to, you're not puking Plexus on people. You're not telling them all the information when they ask a simple question. You are literally just telling them just enough to make them ask just a little bit more, okay? So those are the things that you want to think about. Sharing the opportunity and posting to Facebook and using the social media as a tool, just honestly take it back to that kiosk person. You can post about Plexus without saying the word Plexus. You can post about, think about it, we're the happiness and we're the health company. So post about your brand, post about a new recipe you're trying that night, post about the travel that you're doing, but don't say Plexus paid for this. Don't even use that in a hashtag. You guys, they know that you sell Plexus. I'm sure that, we pepper that in enough because you definitely want to post that a little bit, but not every single post that's about Plexus needs to actually say the word Plexus. This is attraction marketing. It is about building a following, building an interest in your life, building a presence online that people want to be you. They want to live the lifestyle that you're living. They want to have the success, whether on the products or on the business side, that you're having. So that's the thing to think about with those types of things, with building your marketing brand on social media, talking to people about it. You want to have that authentic excitement and that authentic, but not that you don't want to be throwing products at somebody down the mall. That's the type of thing we want to avoid, okay? And the third part of this, and I'm trying to keep it all into a really, really, really short amount of time here. It's a long presentation, but the other thing that we talked a lot about in that section was follow-up. And the single biggest thing to make yourself, that guy clearly had great follow-up in the mall. He really wanted me to try that stuff, but you don't want your friends feeling like that. So what you need to do is you need to make sure that you are setting the expectation of follow-up. So when somebody says, okay, great, I'll look over it and I'll talk to you about it later, say, no problem, I'll talk to you about it tomorrow. You're leading that timeline. You're leading that conversation. I say that to you guys all the time, but that's what works because it keeps them in the know. They know, okay, well, Sarah's going to follow up with me in the morning. And then it sets that timeline. It gives them the expectation of, hey, I actually have to look over this stuff tonight. But then they know, okay, when you do follow up in the morning, you're actually just following through on what you said. You're not bothering them. They agreed to let you follow up in the morning, so there you are following up in the morning. And you're also showing them that you're going to be a very attentive ambassador sponsor to them, whether they're going to sign up as an ambassador or as a customer. You're being attentive to them. You're showing them how you're going to support them in the future. When you say you're doing something, you're doing it. And so just simply making that kind of known and showing that support is a big thing. So the follow-up is key. We always hear about that. It takes 5 to 12 contacts to close a deal. Stop beating yourself up when you talk to somebody about Plexus the first time and they don't sign up. That's actually the most normal thing that could ever happen to you. The abnormal thing would be for them to sign up. So this is all about relationships. So keep that relationship front and center. Drop Plexus if you feel like you need to drop Plexus, and bring it up at another time. Okay, so I'm going to send it over. We're running over. I'm going to send it over to Amy to talk about our next topic.
Hey guys, all right, I will try to be quick. A couple things I wanted to say though. Of course, kiddo's going to come in right now. 3 people on this call tonight, I just looked real quick. I met them in groups. They were total strangers. So there is something to be said definitely for groups and just, making yourself open to new friends. The other thing really quickly I wanted to put in there is we talk a lot about making your Plexus post public. We've had some people recently though, when they go to join these groups, they get face stalked. And if they see nothing but public Plexus posts, then you're actually not going to get let in that group. I know it's cruddy, so try to make some of your personal posts public too. So that's just a really tip that we've learned lately. So Super Saturday, I was super lucky to be in Ohio for Super Saturday with my Ohio team. We had Jessica Hepley and Jennifer Leith. And what I love about these 2 diamonds is Jessica Hepley was an introvert. When her husband told her, you have to make $500, like, I don't care how you do it, figure it out. And she came back to him and said Plexus. He was like, no. 1, we're not going to be those people. 2, you're an introvert. You can't even talk to people, let alone sell them stuff. And the fact that she is now on the stage at Super Saturday, she was on the stage at convention, that is just such a testimony to this company and the personal growth. And then the same with Jennifer Leith. She tells you she was an introvert and she's a homeschool mom. She didn't have a huge network of friends when she started. So I just loved hearing from those 2. The 2 things they talked about that really hit home for me were goals. And they have to be SMART goals. SMART means specific, measurable, action-oriented, realistic, and time-specific. And guys, before Plexus, I never wrote goals down. I thought it was silly. In my old job, you only did it once a year for your yearly review, and it was just to check a box in HR. It was like, yeah, let me do my goals, and then I'll get back to my real job and my real work. But in Plexus, you have to write this down. I don't care if your goal is to add 1 person. Write it down. Everyone has probably seen my notebook. I share it on all these calls where we talk about goals, but I would have 1 page with my monthly goal. It'd have the rank. It'd have how many people I needed to add, how many people the team needed to add, who I could help to rank, and I would check that off. So let me give you a couple of examples though on what a SMART goal is and what a SMART goal isn't. So one good example of a SMART goal is specific. I want to be relaxing on the beach in Hawaii, okay? Measurable. What does measurable mean? You will add 25 new ambassadors on your team every month. Action-oriented, though. What's the action that'll get you there? You have to do your IPA every day of whether it's 5-3-1 or 10-5-3. Sorry, guys. And then realistic, you will rank to Emerald in July. Then time-specific, July being time specific, but also saying you've already taken that time off of work. All right, another good example is specific. I need to make $1,000 this month. I need to make $1,000. Measurable, you're going to add 3 new ambassadors and 3 new customers in January and February. Action, you're going to do your IPA for 1 hour, 5 days a week. Okay, realistic, you're going to hit silver in 2 weeks. And time specific, you're going to make that $1,000 by March. So see how these are very specific goals? Now, if you have somebody who says, yes, here's my goal. I want to be silver in 1 year. All right, that's not realistic, right? Because people hit silver in a couple of days. It's not going to take you a whole year. So maybe if you have somebody that says that, 2 things it tells me. 1, we can help them adjust and maybe be a little bit more realistic, but also they don't really understand the comp plan. Possibly, if as a brand new ambassador, they think it'll take them an entire year to hit silver. The other thing, though, is you need to write them down They talked about in ours, you want to do it 3 months, 6 months, and a year. I did mine monthly in my notebook, and then I would do what I needed to do every day and what I needed to do every week. But you have to write them down. And you know what? One thing that dawned on me during Super Saturday that I've actually gotten away from lately that I need to get back into, which I am 100% positive that's how I ranked and helped my team rank so fast, it's the back office. You've got to get in your back office, and you've got to be looking at those reports. I looked at them, you know, back when I was gold, senior gold, I was looking at them at least once a week. And then back when I was helping a lot of people rank, I was looking at those every single day. So you cannot be afraid to get in that back office. Even if you have one person on your team, get used to it. It's your best tool for meeting those goals. It's how you're going to know how many points you need, how many people are turning off their backup orders, how many people are close to silver. Like, especially the bigger your team gets, you're not going to know that stuff unless you're in your back office. The other thing they talked about is belief. And Jennifer Leith gave an example that I just could relate to so much. It was me. She said your belief and your vision for Plexus has to be so strong that it's almost as if it happened. And many of you guys maybe have heard me say this before, but when I had decided that I was going to be Emerald in October, I visualized it and believed it so much, it was as if it already happened. Like, I already pictured myself driving the Lexus in, like, already doing all the things that Emerald does. I pictured myself, you know, coming back from Leaders Retreat and hitting it. I had no idea how I was going to do it, but I had that belief that it was going to happen. So you need to have belief in 3 things. 1, in yourself. 2, in the company of Plexus Worldwide. And 3, in the industry in general. Now, a lot of people are like, well, how do I get that belief? Yes, so I can visualize myself in a Lexus, but I'm not sure I really believe it, right? Well, there's some things you actually have to do, right? And they're simple, but you actually have to just do them. Nobody can build belief for you. We can give you all the tools, the trainings, the back office, the check sheets, the IPA list, but we can't do the belief for you. So for belief in the industry, read books. You know, Millionaire by Halftime, The 4-Year Career, GoPro. I love the new 4-Year Career, the new update that just came out, because Sarah Marble is actually one of the chapters. So that's really cool. If you want belief in the company, though, you have to get your butt to convention. I'm telling you, people told me that. Sarah Taylor told me that when I was brand new, and I was like, how can a meeting make that big of a difference? It's huge. To hear from the executives and to see their vision and to see this company, that will build your belief like no other. If you can get your spouse to convention, and I know for some people that's hard with childcare, that's what fired Steve up last year. Steve supported me all the way through Emerald, but he wasn't really like 100% kind of bought into this is our thing until he went to convention. But also watch videos from corporate, listen to calls from corporate. When they put out our quarterly calls, when anytime Alec and Tarl do a video, watch it. Read the blog that Plexus does, or you know what? Ask your Jewel uplines. We can tell you, because we're just closer connected to corporate, we can tell you some examples of that belief in the company. Like, they never let anybody down ever. And then, you know, belief in yourself. You guys read books, listen to videos and calls, take your product so you have your own story. Like, be consistent yourself and do your daily affirmations and kind of your, you know, your daily self-talk. One of the books, What to Say When You're Talk to Yourself, is just amazing. Even if you don't think you have negative self-talk, I think everyone can benefit from just more belief in themselves. A switch changed with me in Plexus when I almost turned a little bit cocky. Not cocky in like, you know, oh my gosh, you know, I'm in this rank. Cocky in that, you know what? When I talk to people, it's their loss if they don't do Plexus, not mine. And when you kind of turn that switch because you have such belief in the products and yourself, it doesn't matter if they say no, and you aren't chasing them down. You aren't bugging them. You really are just sharing. And eventually when you share with that confidence, they all come back around. So that was my takeaways, guys.
I love it. And it's so true. I mean, what she was saying about convention, about belief and everything, especially in the company and the executives, it is very difficult to describe the feeling that you get. But when you go there, you realize what type of company you're working for. It's very difficult to get that feeling out here in the field and through the Facebook pages and that type of thing. But when you go there and you see the heart and soul of the company and it's palpable, it changes everything about how you run your business, because you feel so connected, so driven. You just finally get who this company is. And I think that's so critical, and it gave me such peace. I had loved this company. When I first went, I was gold. And when I first went to my first convention in Dallas, I was gold. And when I went there, I was still unsure. I had just started dabbling in this business. I was very, very, very new. It was in May that year, and I had just started in February. So I was very new, and I was just kind of learning the ropes. I think I turned senior gold while I was at convention, and it made me realize that, okay, this company is real, number one. They're not going to implode tomorrow and take all the money or all the time that I've invested in this, because I didn't have any inventory. But it just gave me so much vision into the future and such confidence in what I was selling. And it made me that much more convicted when I was talking to people that, yeah, this actually is the best thing that you could possibly put in your body, you know? Yeah. And so it solidifies all of that. And for me, it really defined my purpose in this company. It defined the fact that I wanted to go out there and help people. And go out there and introduce the most amount of people I possibly could to this opportunity, because it was going to change my life. I saw the vision that they had. I saw the explosion that we are going through. And I realized that the opportunity was there, not just for myself, but for many, 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 many of my friends. And I went to convention that year with just 2 people with me, Hillary and Amber, and 3, and Melissa. And for all of us, it was just a joint unanimous decision. Okay, this is what we're doing. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, fast forward to now, we're looking at convention in Vegas again, and they've just put out the convention contest. And so you guys, number one, register, because it will sell out, and there is going to be a point, and it's probably going to come out way sooner than you think, that suddenly it's that carrot that, oh, you can go to convention. It's not going to be available anymore. So we need to get in front of that. There is a deadline where you can refund your ticket, but you guys go sign up. If something ends up coming up, you can get your ticket refunded, and it's fine if you do it before the deadline. I don't remember it off the top of my head, but go sign up. Now, outside of that, there's a convention contest where you can actually win prizes enough to make sure that your convention trip is actually paid for and free. And the most incredible thing that you can do with that is to set a goal right now. Look at that convention contest, look at the graphics that I posted in Team Taylor, and say, okay, I'm going for this prize. Go one prize higher than you think. Trust me, every single year, everybody that I've told that to said, thank you for telling me that. Go one prize higher than you think. Don't say, Taryn's raising her hand. I promise you, go one prize higher than you think. If you think you can hit X prize, go for the next one and use that tracker that I posted in Team Taylor, those white grid pictures with all the numbers on them. That is the tracker that you can use to see whether you're on track and to help you make your goals. Sit down tonight and make your goals. Figure out what action steps. Okay, you have to add 4 ambassadors a month, or 5 ambassadors a month, or 4 ambassadors a day. Whatever that looks like for you, set that goal now and figure out how you're going to do it. Realize that there's a ramp-up period to this. So if you're not currently at whatever level that you need to be at to hit those prizes, that's okay. But the biggest thing I can say is, for all of us, every single person on this call, personal sponsoring is where it's at. That is the key with this. So personal sponsoring, and when you bring that person in, bring them in the right way. Do not overwhelm them by sending them hour-long videos of, training videos and that kind of thing. Pick up the phone and talk to them. Build that connection with them. Talk to them on the phone and figure out what information what is their learning style. If they're wanting to build this business and you're sending them a million videos and they don't like watching videos, we're going about it the wrong way. But a simple phone conversation will tell you exactly what they need. If they want articles, or if they want you to just throw them in 3-way chats and learn that way, however it is that they want to learn and whatever pace they want to go at, that's really critical too. Then you can meet them where they're at, but it takes just one simple phone call, and these are your friends anyway. So don't make it a big deal. Just pick up the phone and call them. Don't even schedule it, and just say, hey, let's get on the phone and go. Kind of got off on a tangent there, but I think that's a really critical thing when we're talking about convention contests and recruiting. So you can get entries for recruiting with welcome pack in your 1 through 4. So obviously personal sponsoring is huge. You can get them for customers and for your PV. So ramping up your activity, obviously critical. But if you're somebody that has a couple team members underneath you, talk to them about convention, talk to them about this, or talk to them about their goals. Figure out what they want. If they want to run with this and they want to do it, help them. You know, you want to pour into your team just as much as you want to work your own business too. And so you want to help them achieve their goals in this contest as well. So I'm going to turn it over to the three, to Amanda, Taryn, and Amy to add anything like that to this, because they have gone through these contests, they have gone through convention, they have gone through leaders retreat as well. So any pearls of wisdom or advice before we shut this meeting down would be greatly appreciated.
Let me jump in real quick. I don't know if Taryn and Amanda, you have anything too, but you know, one thing I was going to say, I was a brand new ambassador in March of 2015. No way I was going to convention. Like I wasn't even really 100% bought in March. Something came up though to where I was scheduled to be somewhere and I couldn't go. And Sarah Taylor was like, you really have to be at convention. Okay. I went to convention and I had already won the first 2 or 3 prizes. So if you're working your business, you can win these prizes. I hear a lot of times people say, well, I'll never win the big check. I'm not a jewel. And that drives me crazy, because if the only difference is those people are working their businesses and they have set that goal and they know what they need to do every single day. And if you worked it like that, heck, by the time you get there, you could be a jewel. Because it's so far away. So I don't want anyone to go ahead and write off that convention contest just because you're brand new or you're silver. I don't want anybody to write it off, because there will be people on that stage getting that big check who haven't even joined or who just joined in January.
Absolutely, and that's a great point, Amy, because the majority of the people that get the big check on stage and the big deal on stage, they are jewels, but guess what? They were not jewels when the contest started. Absolutely not. They got there because they built their business during the contest.
Mm-hmm. I'll say one thing that it's sort of a really, really harsh lesson learned. So I finally decided to start sharing the business in end of December 2014, and 2015 convention rolled around and I didn't go. And I remember Sarah telling me I needed to go. And truth be told, I was still working my full-time job, and it happened to be a time of the year that we weren't allowed to take time off. We weren't. And so I told her, I said, I can't get time off. I can't get any time off, so I can't go. Boom, done. But the truth is, I let someone else telling me that I couldn't get that time off be the decision for me. I let somebody make that decision for me that I couldn't go. And I will say, I at the time thought like, no, it's no big deal. I mean, this thing, it's no big deal. I went to convention last year for the first time, and Tara and I talked about this. We were both wide-eyed after the first event that I was like, what was I thinking? I guarantee, which granted, I'm very happy that I'm a sapphire right now. I guarantee I'd be a diamond right now if I went to convention in 2015. I guarantee it. Because I had to work so hard building my own belief and building my own trust in this company. Whereas if I would have just gone to convention, it would have been in like that. I would have understood, like, I would have gotten the big picture. I would have understood everything. I would have had so much more resources, so much more verbiage to use instead of just sitting there trying to come up with it on my own. And so I cannot stress it enough. Like, take a lesson from me. Go to convention. I, again, very happy in life, but I completely did myself a disservice by not going. and I will never miss another Plexus event again. I don't care if someone's having an event down the road in Austin, I'm there. I will go to every single Plexus event, because if nothing else, you hear verbiage that someone says something some way and you think, oh, that's what I'm going to say to that person. And it just clicks for you. You can not walk away from this without having growth and without being excited about your business and about being excited to change it. So take a lesson from me.
And I'll have you guys know
right now.
I'll have you guys know too, I did not miss a moment to say I told you so in that scenario.
It's true.
Another thing I loved about my first convention being so brand new and not really bought in, I really thought you were going to walk in, and maybe all of you guys have already been, maybe you've been to a Plexus event. I thought I was going to walk into all of these super thin, fit, blonde chicks, right? And it was really great to walk in, though, and see all walks of life, all ages, men, women, all people. And the same thing I noticed last year of the people up on stage. Like, that's really what gets me. It's not the same. So it's like anybody can do this. You just have to want it. That's what I love about seeing all the different people convention up on that stage.
Mm-hmm.
So get there. Plus, it's fun.
Plus, it is really fun.
All right. Do you have anything to add, Taryn? Or
It's pretty much the same. I was the same with Amanda. I signed up at the very end of February 2015, and I remember really wanting to do this, and convention came, and we couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford to fly out there, and I let that be my excuse because I didn't really talk to my husband much about it, and childcare, let that be my excuse. But deep down in my stomach, I was so sick because I was telling myself, you are not allowing yourself to be fully in. Like, you say you want these things, but Sarah is telling you need to get here, and you're making up these excuses. You're letting small things get in the way. And just like Amanda said, last year at convention, it was really eye-opening. I remember thinking, God, if only I would have just believed in myself and showed up for convention, because I noticed a lot of my struggles with my walk really suffered from my belief, and I was always struggling with a belief in myself, and then sometimes a belief in Plexus, because I had never seen Plexus. And my first event was Leaders Retreat in 2015. And I'm going to be honest, I've worked for a bunch of different companies, and I have never, ever been to a corporate event where you feel so spoiled and special that I literally, hands down, left Leaders Retreat, and I seriously was like, I will never miss a Plexus event, and this company is legit. These people care probably more than they should about all of us, literally. And this is insane. Like, I want to be a part of this. I want to run to the top, and the amount that they pour into you is ridiculous. It's just, you cannot leave there without gaining phenomenal amounts of personal growth and belief, and without your business exploding. It's just, it's not going to happen. So if you have excuses, try to really think about what your excuses are. And I know there are some legit ones, but really kind of assess, like, is that something that you're allowing, like Amanda said, to be an easy excuse, an easy out? Or is this mean this to you? Do you really, really want this? How bad do you want this? Because it's a lot of fun, and it's incredible. It's so incredible. So yeah.
It is. And it's kind of eye-opening. I just, I say it all over and over again, that the company, you don't know who you're working for until you go. And it's really cool to see that. And then you finally just get it. You just finally get what all the Jewels have been talking about, because they have been blessed to have been to those before. So they have that pillar of belief from the company, but then suddenly you have it too, and it just catapults you into momentum. And it's the single best thing that you could possibly do for the future of your business, not from the stuff that you'll learn there necessarily, but just the feeling that you have and the conviction that you have, and you just know that you're in the right place at the right time. You know that. And you know that this isn't going anywhere. Whereas as network marketing, there's doubts before that, there's whatever is in your head, but you know after that. So in any case, I'm going to go ahead and cut. It's 9 o'clock, so I'm going to cut the meeting short, but I want you guys to really pay attention in the coming weeks as we talk about going silver, as we talk about the convention contest. Really, really think about your goals. Sit down and think about, okay, how do I want to start 2017 off? What do I need to do to make sure that I go silver every single month? What are those action plans? How am I going to market this? How am I going to share it without being the kiosk girl and or man? And how am I going to plan out this next year and take advantage of these opportunities? Because I know that I can tell you guys, standing in front of Super Saturday, handing the microphone over to the testimonies that were coming up and knowing that I have a small part in testimonies just like that over and over and over again on this team is so humbling. And you guys, I want that for every single one of you guys. These products are life-changing. So regardless of what's going on in your business, you guys are promoting products that absolutely change people's lives. So keep that front and center always. But love you guys. And that's all I've got for right now.
Bye, guys.
Bye.